This is the Discover the World Project, a way of using arts and culture to connect people across the planet. Any people or civilization can best be understood by looking at how they express themselves in their art and their culture. For us to know where we will go as a global community, we must start to understand where we come from, where we are now, and how the possibilities for the future are all interconnected. All of this can be seen in the languages of our collective cultures. This project will show a global audience how to read these languages while entertaining them in unique ways. And hopefully, in the end, allow people's view of the world and what's possible to open up a little bit more. It begins with our shared history and explores the origins of the visual arts, music, dance, storytelling, sport, food, and the created environment, which is what architecture and fashion say about a people. These 7 cultural categories begin to show the languages all cultures are built on. From there, the Earth is looked at in 7 to 9 regions, based only on music tuning systems and scales, and each of these regions is looked at through the lens of the cultural areas. Following human migration and the rise of civilization, the areas of Africa, the Middle East, India, Eastern Asia, Southeast Asia and Oceania, Europe, Central Asia, and the Americas can be explored. One of the things that enables this project is the use of new models of communication and information paths. For the model of every region, each cultural element has its own reference area or satellite. Each satellite communicates to the center, whatever or whomever that is, but it can also directly link to other satellites, forming networks of both like and unlike. This can also be layered in tiers. Here, green is for research, basic information related to each element. Another tier, shown in red, represents communication or information for real-life representatives in what we'll refer to as the neighborhood, or people nearby with possible personal contact. And another tier, shown in blue, represents the same communication pathways to the larger community, or members who may be further away but still in contact, which now means nearly everyone else on the face of the Earth. But where this model becomes effective is when it's viewed in 3D. The colored tiers can be seen on the 3 levels of research, neighborhood, and community. The way each satellite lines up with others around it provides a very efficient communication path. This helps not just in documentation, but for access as well. Combining with the other regions sharing the same model creates an even larger organized network, tiered in the same way. Its center facilitates concise communication with each satellite region, while producing potential for even larger tangential networks between even the most unlikely cultural elements from across the globe. For anything from documentaries to websites, this model allows in-depth explorations of Africa, the Middle East, India, China, Southeast Asia and Oceania, Europe, Central Asia, and the Americas. The audience is introduced to representatives of each region's cultural areas and shown their insights. Through interviews, demonstrations, and performances, creative customs and traditions will be explored in new ways and look at the past, the present, and the possible futures. Each region will be parts arts journey, part sports program, part cooking show, part live performance, and music concert. The audience will be able to watch virtuosos in their field along with regular people as they discuss, perform, and create. and it's likely that numerous cultural traditions could be viewed for the first time by a global audience. The most unique thing this project has to offer is a twist. From this global network, we can use one cultural element and twist it with something else. Combinations could be flamenco dance combined with African traditional dance. There will be rare opportunities to create one-of-a-kind hybrids, then help create and guide these new cultural blends. There can also be performances, mixtures between classic Italian commedia dell'arte mixed with Japanese no drama. Performances could be a live event and live streamed when possible. Dogen sculptures and pop art, with some installations also being filmed for a virtual environment, and of course cross-cultural food fusions that show the culinary as well as the cultural languages. This wealth of research and contacts also gives the ability to target certain cultural elements in specific places and in new ways. The following are a few basic plans for using various types of cultural expression as a means for positive communication and change. Using opera as a common language, an exchange between North Korea and several other organizations was envisioned. The idea was to have a group of opera artists, primarily talented students, travel from all over the world to North Korea to help make a series of live performances of the opera, The Sea of Blood. Techniques and styles in singing, directing, choreography, design, etc. could all be compared and put to practical use. Through a well-documented filmed process, representatives of various cultures would work together in a positive way. Parts of the process, and especially the live performances, could be live streamed. Another possible use would be to bring representatives from other countries to some place like Seattle, Chicago, or Philadelphia to learn from local representatives about how to create and produce their own original theatrical works. Classes could be given on marketing, development, company management, etc., and new plays based on their own stories could be workshopped. A strong partnership would be forged between local institutions and growing international arts and government organizations. Then, some of the local artists and students would return with the representatives to their country of origin for the final step: live and live-streamed performances of the created work. The entire process could be filmed as a documentary, and the performances could be broadcast with fewer copyright issues as their original works. This project has its own video for you to watch. For now, enjoy some music and read a little bit about it. By looking at the world's arts and culture, using this method of chronicling, experiencing contemporary styles, and contemplating future expectations, this project allows people from all over the globe to understand and celebrate their own culture, as well as those that are different from theirs. There is a world that most people don't know. If we look closely, we can better understand how we define ourselves. Differences have pushed us apart in the past, but our similarities can bring us together in the future.